So if you want to learn how to make your own personal AI assistant, you have clicked on the right video. But before we get to building, let me introduce you to my AI assistant, A.D.A. A.D.A, I'm looking for a specific file. Can you list the files and folders in the current directory, please?
Sure, I can do that. I found the following files and folders in the current directory.
It seems like I can't find the folder that I need. Can you create me a new folder called Robot Arm?
I've created a new folder called Robot Arm for you. Is there anything else I can help you with?
Can you list the files in the current directory and see if that Robot Arm folder is there?
Yes, the Robot Arm folder is there. I found the following items in the current directory.
Thank you so much, A.D.A. I think I need to search something. Can you open up google.com?
You are welcome. I've opened google.com for you.
A.D.A, I forgot that you could just search things for me. Instead, can you search the score of the Falcons game last Sunday?
The Atlanta Falcons lost to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers 23-20 last Sunday in their regular season opener.
A.D.A, I want to play a game to test your vision system. Let me know when you're ready.
I'm ready. Please tell me how you'd like to play.
Can you tell me how many fingers I have up right now?
You have 4 fingers up on your right hand.
Okay, what about now?
Now you have 2 fingers up on your right hand.
Okay, let me know how many fingers I have up now.
You have no fingers up now.
Great, thank you so much. As you can see, A.D.A could do a lot of cool things. And the goal of this tutorial is to get you up and running so you can have your own personal version of A.D.A. So this tutorial is going to be set up into 3 main sections. The first section is just the startup and having you download everything that you need to have this right on your computer. The second part of the tutorial is going to be a lot more detailed. I'm going to be coding things out line by line. The third part of the tutorial is going to focus on more high-level stuff. I'm not going to be as detailed because I don't want this video to be 3, 4, 5, 6 hours long. So what mainly I'm going to do is we'll be copy and pasting the code that I already have made and is already functioning. And I'm going to give you a high-level overview of how it's working, just to give you understanding so you can handle it and do it yourself. So without further ado, let's go ahead and show you how to make your own Jarvis AI assistant. So the very first thing that we want to do is download something called Anaconda Navigator. And the reason why Anaconda Navigator is so important is because it's going to help us manage our different Python environments. And we need different Python environments because it is very easy. Oops, click the wrong link. You want to go to Anaconda here. Yep, and go to free download. We already on the page. Scroll all the way down, download Miniconda installer. And then if you have Windows, you download it right here. So cool. You go ahead and let that install. But like I was saying, the reason why it's so important is because Anaconda will help us manage our Python environments, and your computer usually already has its own version of Python. So one, you don't want it to conflict, but also if you work on different projects that use different libraries, you might have one project that say is your AI project and needs a certain set of libraries. You might have another project you're using for data science or robotics that need a completely different set of libraries. So it's very important to have different environments, especially if you're having multiple projects. So libraries over here doesn't conflict with libraries over there. So after, let's wait for that to install. Okay, so now that your Anaconda Navigator is installed, you can open it up right here. We'll open up the installer actually. Yep. So you can do next. I agree. Just me. Next. 3 is not empty. Okay, so I got this because I already had this installed. No, oh, I have to install it in the user. Here, make a new folder. Let's call it test. I'm not gonna actually install it. Let's do okay. Let's go next. Okay, this is the screen. So this screen is very important. So what I did is I checked all 4 of these. Right? Yeah, okay, so you want to check all 4 of these. Now the thing is that if you have a problem with Anaconda being in your path, then okay, don't check it, and you just have to use PowerShell to install your pips or whatever the case may be. But if you just want to get running, it's fine. You can always remove it from the environmental path anyway. And then you'll click install, but I already have Anaconda installed, so I'm not going to do that. So now we can open up Anaconda Navigator. All right, now if Anaconda Navigator open up, the first thing that we're going to do is go to environments. And this is where we have a different environment. So you have your base environment. I already have one called A.D.A and I have one called tutorial. So we're going to press create here and we're going to name our environment. I'm just going to call this one test, not in capital. and then you want it to be in Python. And then 3.13.5 is perfect, and then we're gonna press create. And honestly, while the environment is being created, we could go ahead and install VS Code. We're gonna go here, we're gonna do download VS Code for Windows. It's pretty straightforward. Just go ahead and click next, 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 next. I already have it installed. Yep, VS Code. I agree, next. Make sure add path is there, next, and then you'll press install. Now let's go back to Anaconda. And all right, it's still installed, making the environment. Okay, the environment is done. We're gonna go to home. And what you should also install is PowerShell. PowerShell prompt, make sure you install that. All right, and like I said, I have all 11 tutorials in the final version of Ada already set up on GitHub. So all you have to do is click in the link in the description below and go to the GitHub repo. But I'm gonna go to my GitHub, let's go to the Ada, and in this folder tutorials is all the tutorials as well as the pip command and how to get started and everything else. So what you could do if you want is that you could just clone the repo and follow along. But because I just want to show you guys from the absolute beginning, we're just going to go ahead and open up Visual Studio Code. Then I'm going to go open folder and let's create a new folder. Let's just call the folder test. Let's select, and that's what we're going to open up. And then we create a new file called main.py. And this is where everything's going to happen, right? So also, if this is your first time having VS Code, you do need to install Python as an interpreter. So we're going to go to extensions, type in Python, and then make sure you have Python installed. The next thing you want to do is, like I said, there's different versions of Python on your computer for your different projects. So you're going to go here. You see right now trying to use the base version of Python. We don't want that. We want to use what we just created, and that is test. So now that we have test set up, let's go back to the GitHub repo, go to tutorials, and I should have all the pip commands that you're going to need. All right, here. And these are all the pip commands you're going to need to follow along with the tutorial. These are all the pip commands you are going to need to follow along in this tutorial from start to finish. All right, so I'm going to copy this. Open up Anaconda. We're going to go to PowerShell that we just installed. PowerShell, did I pass it? PowerShell, oh, I just saw it. PowerShell, we're going to launch PowerShell. And then just make sure this matches whatever environment whatever you named your environment. We're going to paste and let it install everything. All right, so now all of that is installed. I promise we are almost done with the setup, and we will be coding soon. Is you want to go back into your folder and you want to create a file called .env. And the .env file is very important because we're going to be using API keys. And your API keys, you want to keep that a secret. You don't want to have that directly hard-coded in your code because it's very easy for it to leak, get out, wherever the case may be. So you want to make a .env file, and in your .env file, you can put your API keys. So right now, we're going to need the Gemini API key because that's what we're using for our AI. So if you go here, let's go to Gemini AI Studio. We can probably just do API key, honestly. All right, boom, easy. Get your API key, first one. Huh? This is new. Did they just update something? They definitely just updated something. Okay, they did update something. We're gonna go get API key, and I already have one, but you can go to create API key. Here, even if you just made an account, it should be my first project. Go to my first project, and then create API key. I'm gonna use my existing one. Wait, can I use my existing one? Yes, I am. I'm gonna use my existing one. This will be blurred out so y'all don't steal mine. Right? And then you wanna go back to VS Code. And in here, we're going to call the API key Gemini underscore API underscore key equals parentheses, and boom, paste your API key. Save. And I think that is everything. Double check. You want to make sure you have the right Python environment. You got your API key set up. You want to make sure you don't have any errors in the pip command that we ran. And I think after that, we are in business. So tutorial number uno is going to be just send up a basic, send a question and reply from Gemini, right? So what you could do, just copy from the GitHub repo. I'm going to type it out for this first time only. So from Google, we're going to import Gen AI. And that's the main library we're working with. Then we're going to do it again from Google dot Gen AI import types. So then we want to import OS, and then from, well, import OS, and from dot env, we want to import load underscore env. So two imports. The first two imports are for the AI model. The second two imports is for importing our API key. So we're going to load .env, and what that does is load our .env file, and then our API underscore key is going to equal os.getEnv, and perfect, I love AI, it finishes it for you, Gemini API key. After we do that, we want to create the Gemini object. And what that is, we want to say client equals, wow, this thing is so good. Okay, no, it's not actually good. Client dot client API key equals API key, right? So this client right here, for now, this is where everything's gonna happen. So all we did is say, okay, let's create our AI model object, and we're gonna be importing our API key so it knows, okay, we're allowed to use the AI model. But we also wanna do a check to make sure that the API key is imported correctly. So before we even go ahead and add our API key to the Gen AI model, we want to make sure, hey, we're just going to do a check. If not API key, so it's basically saying if the API key is empty, it's going to give us an error saying Gemini API key environmental variable not set. But if it is set, it's going to completely ignore this and go ahead and create our object. So we're going to do a print statement. It's going to print API key is fine. Nice, nice. And the last thing that we're going to do is working on getting our very first response from the Gen AI. So we're going to go ahead and go to response equals client dot models dot generate content, right? And the first thing, and now you want to put in arguments. So we want to basically describe everything. We want to describe our model. We want to describe what our AI wants to do. Well, we're describing to what our AI should do. So the first thing is picking the model. What model we're going to use. So if we want a real-time assistant, you have two options. You have Gemini Flash, Gemini Pro. Gemini Pro is very, very smart and can handle very complex problems. But the answer you get back is going to be a little bit slow. So what we're going to do, we're going to use Gemini dash 2.5 Flash. 2.5 dash Flash. Because that's the fastest version of Gemini. And then what you're going to do is something called content. And the content is basically the question that you want to ask. So as a test, let's ask, what is my name? And let's see if it somehow magically knows that question. Google's stealing my data. Then we could also do the config. And the config is very important. So all of Google's latest models are thinking models. And that basically means that it's going to give you feedback on what it's doing and how it came to that answer. But thinking models are, if you have thinking on, it's going to run slow because it has to go through a certain amount of iterations. If it's going through a certain amount of iterations, then it's going to take some time to reply, even though it might be more accurate. So what we want to do is turn thinking off, because for the simple questions that we're asking right now, we don't need it. Maybe in the future, we could turn thinking on and get a little bit better answers. So we're going to do thinking types dot generate content config, yes. We're going to say thinking underscore config equals types dot thinking config. And then we're going to set our thinking budget to 0 because we do not want it to think at all. There we do. Comma. Boom. And the last thing is that we want to print the response that we got. So every response you get from the AI doesn't just have text. It has other things that we'll probably get to, that we will get to later. So you're going to get text, but you're going to also get a whole bunch of information. So when you get the response, you want to say exactly what you want to print, and that is text. And I think with that, we are good. So when I ask the AI, what is my name? And let's see if it knows my name. Hopefully not, because that would be scary if it did. So I'm going to go here. We're going to say run Python file in dedicated terminal. Activates the conda environment. Runs the file. API key is fine. As an AI, I don't know your name. I don't have access to your personal information about you. I'd like you to call, if you'd like me to call you something, feel free to tell me. Nice. Now let's ask it another question. Let's be fun. Are you alive? I know everybody's scared about AI right now. Oh, why did I open a new one? Okay, we can run that easier. API key is, I am a complex computer program, artificial intelligence. Short answer is no, I am not alive. All right, so you go ahead and ask any question that you want, which is fine, good, amazing, super basic, super easy code. Now, the next thing that we want to work on is giving it system instructions. The system instructions is basically you're giving the AI a set piece of knowledge to know before you even start talking to it, right? And adding system instruction is very easy. So if we go to the config, we go to system, just had it, system instructions. So a test, let's say my name is Nas. That's interesting to give it. Oh, wow, it said Nazir. How does it know my full name is Nazir? Freaky, freaky. All right, we're just gonna do the same thing. So we gave system instructions and we're gonna ask it the question, what is my name? And now it should know. Unless I broke something. Clear, run. Your name is Nas. Now, let's ask something else. My name is Jack. Your name is Jack. Perfect. So system instructions is very important. System instructions is probably one of the most important things that you're going to do for your AI because it literally dictates everything that's happening. And for simple chatbots like this, it might not be that much of a usage. But when you start getting into advanced things and the AI can do use a whole plethora of, when the AI can use a whole arsenal of different tools, then you're going to need to have very, 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 very detailed system instructions. But let's go back to my name is Nas, and now let's ask the AI to tell me a story. Boom. Let's go. It's taking, okay. It's taking a little bit long. It's taking very long actually. Okay, so it took very long for us to, very long in the sense of having a real-time chatbot for us to get this story. And the reason it takes long is because what the AI is doing is wait until it gets this whole 300, 400 word answer. And then after getting that answer, it spits everything out. But we could somewhat cheat this by using something called streaming. Because as your user, as you're reading the text, when it just blops out everything, you just don't instantly read it. You're kind of reading it as it goes. So we're trying to make the AI do that, which is called streaming. To instead of giving us a whole response at one time, we can set up to where it gives a little chunk of a response, one piece at a time. And enabling streaming is super easy. Super, super easy. So if you can, I'll probably say almost always use streaming. All you have to do is go to underscore, here, underscore stream. That's it. But there's something to know. If we would just run the code just like this, I know, boom, we get an error. Generated. So the reason we got an error is because if we're streaming and we're getting pieces, or I think they call it chunks, if we're getting chunks of information, you need to keep iterating through that response to get all the chunks because it's all not ready at one time. So what we're going to use is a for loop, and a for loop is very important concept in programming because a for loop lets you set a certain amount of iterations, right? So we're basically going to write in code hey, iterate through this response until you get every chunk in that entire response. So what you have to do is go to for chunk in response. Everybody knows what I'm going for. We're going to print the chunk. And remember, even in chunks, there's other information, so we got to specify chunk.text, and we keep the end flush, we do not need. Or we're ending it right here. Boom. So now, if we tell it, same thing, tell me a story, and we go clear again, clear, run. API key is fine. You see we start getting replies. And it's continuously basically typing it out to us. So that is the key to getting very fast responses. Because one, you already have a fast AI model, and you're not just waiting to get the entire response, you're getting the responses. It is very important, of course, when you get in like super long responses, so you're not just sitting there waiting for 5 to 10 seconds. But you probably already see an error. Every time you want to ask one question, not an error, but you already see the downfall of the code that we have right now. Every time we need to ask one question, we need to keep on pressing run. No, we don't want to have to keep on booting up our AI every time we want to talk to it. We want it to just be ready and constantly ask questions on question on questions. So that's going to do two things. One, just better use case. And then two, it gives us something called chat history. So if I tell AI in the first question, hey, my name is Jacob, and I tell it later, I decided to change my name to Nas, and as I ask it, hey, what's my name? It's gonna be like, oh, your name is Nas. So it has history. It's gonna remember previous chats or previous prompts that you sent to it. So, like I said, I kind of really like using Gemini's API just because everything is very, 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 very easy to set up. So this whole part is about to change, is about to stay the same. But one thing that we do have to do is, instead of response, we're gonna call this chat, right? And then saying client, we're gonna change this. We're gonna change this to, so basically what we need to do, we need to create a chat. So we're gonna client dot, like I was backspace enough, chats dot create. So that's creating the chat. And in the chat, the model is of course Gemini. We don't need contents anymore because remember what I said, we're asking the question continuously. Boom. Content, same system instructions, same thinking, then we're good. We don't need the for chunk in the response. So now we have the chat set up, but now we also need to set up to where we continuously ask the question. So we're not gonna use a for loop because we don't have a set number of times we're gonna ask. We're gonna use a while loop. And when we're gonna not just use a regular while loop, we're gonna use a while true. And this basically allows us to ask a question an infinite number of times. Wow, AI code finishing is getting insane. But it is right. Well, first thing that we're going to do is ask for user input. So user input, we're going to say you. And what this allows us to do is be able to type in here. So we're going to be able to type our prompt in the terminal in here, send that, and that's what's going to be sent to the AI. But also, we need a way to break out of the infinite loop. We just don't want to be stuck in it. So what we're going to do is that if the user types exit, it's going to break out the infinite loop. So go user.input, yes, dot lower. Okay, this is about right. I don't care about quit. Let's just go exit because that is what is in the code you guys are copying from the GitHub. User underscore input, right? So if user input is exit, it's gonna break out of this while loop. So that's how you use a break. So if this is true, break out. If this is not true, it's gonna do everything else. So now we're gonna try to get the response to the AI. So the response from the AI is gonna be chat dot send. So we gotta send a message, and of course the message that we're gonna send is whatever the user typed, right? So the user typed hello, that's gonna be the message they sent. Boom. So what this will do is, well, I think I could, let's do that actually. So I can show you. So let's do print bot response.text. All right. So this is kind of just a precursor to the actual code that you guys are copying. So if we just do this and run it, hello, Now, if I say, tell me a story, you might notice something. Tell me a story. Oh, it's taking very long. Very, very, very long. And that is because we forgot to do streaming. But if I type in exit, we exit out. Perfect, beautiful. So it's because we forgot to do streaming. But to further, I got scared. I thought it wasn't recording at that time. But to further emphasize my point, if we go to underscore stream, it's that easy to set up streaming again. It's actually that easy to set up streaming again. So what we're gonna do is back. We're gonna go for chunk, same exact thing that we had before in response. Boom. And this is good. Let's go. API key is fine. All right, so let's say, what is my name? So you guys can see this. What is my name? Your name is Nas. Now I'm gonna say, now my name. Wait, what did I forget? A Blake print statement or something? I did. All right, sorry, that's gonna bother me. Let me just fix this right now. Sorry. Print. Okay. Now we should be good. Okay, what is my name? Your name is Nas. Let's say call me. Let's use my full name. Let's say call me Nazir. Nazir, how can I help you? All right. Let's say tell me a story. So you could test the streaming and get that long response. If I could type story today, tell me a story. Boom, streaming is working. Beautiful. Now I'm gonna ask it my name again. I'm gonna say, what is my name? Nazir. So it knows my name. They say, what is my old name? Your old name was Nas. Beautiful. So everything is working. Streaming is working. Chat is working. Beautiful. Beautiful. So to set up a simple chat box, that's all it is in 36 lines of code. And really less, because we have a whole bunch of empty space. It's probably more like 30 lines of code. You can set up a chat box for your own Gen AI, which is actually stupid. All right, so the next thing that we want to do is, of course, we're going to talk to it. We can type to it and get an answer back, but we're going to want to speak to the AI model. And that is very easy. All we have to do is use one of the libraries that we already installed. And if you don't have it installed, all you have to do is do pip install real-time STT. So we're going to say from that real-time, oh, they need to do capital. From real-time STT, we want to import the audio to text recorder. And it does exactly what you think, converts our audio to text. So right before our while loop, the same way that we initialize this chat, we want to initialize our recorder. So we say recorder equals audio to text recorder, and we're gonna need some attributes. Same thing, almost. First thing is going to be our model. The model that I use is tiny.en. And I use tiny.en for two reasons. One, it is very fast because it's a small model. Two, since it's a small model and it's running locally on your computer right now, it's not going to take up too much of your processing power. That's very important. Next, language. English. You can pick a language of choice. They have a list of so many languages on their website. So just go type in GitHub, real-time STT. It'll show you a list of their languages. And the last thing that we want to do is spinner when it set that to false. Because I think that's going to make it, that's going to show it's thinking, and we really don't need that. So the change is very, 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 very simple. So as you can see here, what we're doing is we're taking the input that whatever user types in, and we're putting it as user input here. But now that we got recorder, what we have to do is go to recorder dot text. And oh, forgot the parentheses. And we should be good. And before I test, I need to see what mic I'm going to use, because, oh no, this mic should be perfect. All right, I already have two mics, so I think we should be good. So we're gonna test. No, I broke something. What did I break? Okay, I figured it out, and it was a simple fix. So if we try to run it, API key is fine. Boom, we get this big nasty error. And the reason we get an error is pretty simple. It's because we're just running the code straight and we don't have it in its own main function. So all you have to do is highlight everything except for your imports, tab, define main, boom. And then here, perfect, if underscore underscore name underscore underscore main, main. So all this is doing is saying now all this setup is we have it in a function, and a function, all it is a slice of code or a piece of code that we want to use whenever it's called. So all this, everything that's in here is one simple function, and we're saying if this is the main file that we're running, we want to automatically run this function. So all it is saying, hey, run all of this the next time you see main 2 commas. So that's all we did. Forgot one more thing. I'm sorry. To get feedback. Oh, one last thing. I'm sorry. Let's go print underscore u. We don't need all this extra stuff. We're going to print u. And then after we want to record, we also want to print whatever the user input is. All right. I promise you now I'm done. I think. But we do want the extra stuff. Print u underscore end. All right. That's fine. We can do that for now. All right. Now I am serious this time. Now we can actually run the file. Because I want to see what it thinks I'm saying. Hello. I don't know. Just tell me a little story. The story was okay. Tell me another one. Exit. Exit. Okay, so there we go. You can't be too enthusiastic when you say exit. You see how I did this? It put the exclamation point there. Why is it still? Oh, man, I'm just messing up today, and I already had the code pre-written. After exit, you want to make sure we do recorder dot shutdown, I believe. See, that's why I was copy and pasting code, because I forget little things like this. All right, now we just don't test the exit real quick. Here. Exit. All right, perfect. Exit. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. All right, so I think the first half is done. Now it's the actual fun part. And the fun part when your AI chat box, your Jarvis AI comes alive, and that is when you give it a voice. So what I use for my AI voice is something called 11 Labs, and it's already here, beautiful. And the reason I use 11 Labs is because these AI voices are probably, not even probably, to me, I think some of the best on the market right now. And they already have a demo set up, so that's actually perfect. So let's do a quick demo.
In the ancient land of Eldoria, where skies shimmered and forests whispered secrets to the wind, lived a dragon named Zephyros. Not the burn-it-all-down kind, but he was gentle, wise, with eyes like old stars. Even the birds fell silent when he passed.
Yeah, absolutely insane. AI voices is crazy. So it is paid for, but they do have a free tier. So $0 per month, you do get 10K credits. 10K credits is enough to get you through the tutorial, definitely. For me, I truly think the creator tier is the best bang for your buck. $11 for 100K tokens is kind of, unless you're going crazy, it's hard to get past 100K tokens. 30K is kind of easy. And also, the thing that I like, tokens roll over. Tokens roll over. So if you use 50K out of the 100K next 1 month, the next month, instead of just getting 100K, you'll get 150K. There's a point where I had like 300, 400K tokens, and that helped out a lot. So I do have a link in the description. So if you do want to support the channel and you do plan on buying this, use my link. I get a percentage of it. So if you want to show love, appreciate you. But regardless, I heavily recommend this. So we're going to log in, and we're going to get an API key. So to get your API key, we're going to go to settings. We are going to go to usage and analytics, and then we're going to API keys. And then what you want to do is create an API key. So I don't remember what this one is. So let's go to create key and make sure you get your accesses. The access is text to speech. That's what all we need. And if you want to set a limit, you could, but I don't do that. Yeah, so only text to speech. That's all we need it for. Boom. Close your eyes. You don't need my API key. Copy. So we're gonna go back to our .env file. We're gonna call this API key 11 labs underscore API underscore key. No way it already has, no way it knows my API key. No way, right? Let me make sure. Okay, no, it's wrong. Whoo! I was about to say, it's reading things in my clipboard now. I was gonna turn this thing off. Boom. API key is set up. All right, now, if you're using 11 labs, we need to do something very, very important. And that is we need to install something called FFmpeg. If you already have it installed, skip this part. But I was running into issues with it. So go here, ffmpeg.org. I think that says mpeg, I don't know which one it is. Right? We're going to go to downloads, Windows. I use the gyan.dev one. Go here and we're going to install this one, this full. Go there. We're going to open the file. We're going to click extract, and then we're going to extract it to our C drive. Why can't I see my C drive here? This PC, local disk C, boom. So you're going to extract it to your C drive. Me, you see, I already have it here. So extract it to your C drive. That's very important. After you extract it to your C drive, close this. We're going to go here. We want to type in environments, edit the system environment, environmental variables. Scroll down to path. We want to edit path, and right here you see in our C drive we have ffmpeg, bin. Make sure you have that. And to double check that you have that, you're going to do ffmpeg-version. I know this stuff should come up. If this stuff doesn't come up, you did something wrong. And I have a feeling this is going to be the part where people mess up on. And I know you're going to go in the comments and ask for help. But so it is very, very hard for me to go and help people in the comments. And also, I'm only one person. So I did go ahead and I made a Discord, which is going to be basically mainly a channel Discord. Anything dealing with the channel, or not even with the channel, anything dealing with anything, but it's going to be focused on the type of stuff that we like, AI, robotics, all that stuff. So if you need help with your project, head to the Discord channel, ask for help. The link to the Discord is in the description. All right, boom. Since we're using 11 labs for speech to text, well, text to speech now, we want to say from 11 labs.client import 11 labs. And the second import we're going to do is from 11 labs import play. Wait, did I do something wrong? Did I forget to import play from 11 labs? Oh no, we're here. Okay, that was weird. It took a little minute to kind of figure that out. All right, so right now, we're gonna fix this in the next tutorial, I think. Yeah, next tutorial. Right now, we are streaming our response. And since we are streaming our response, we can't send chunks of a response to 11 labs yet. We will be, we can't do it yet. So what we're gonna do is, as we're still gonna continue our streaming, but what we're gonna do is, as it's streaming, we're gonna build up a full response, and then we're gonna send that full response to 11 labs, all right? So it's gonna be 2 parts. Well, I put up 5, I'm really trying to stop the camera. So it's gonna be 2 parts of it. It's gonna be streaming the response, building the full response. After we build a full response, putting that out to 11 labs, all right? And the reason I'm going through this part is because I really just wanna go through the simple bare bones ways to do it, because the next tutorial is going to be a lot more complex stuff, and I'm not going to have, unless you guys want this to be a 7, 8, 9 hour video, I'm not going to have time to explain WebSockets and bidirectional. I'm not going to have time to explain that. So if you just want a bare bones way of setting up your AI model, setting up your text to speech, this is the way to do it, right? So we are actually changing our import now because we need to import our API key. So we need to change this to Gemini underscore API key, and we need to do that in multiple places, because now we have 2 API keys, just not a single one. We're gonna do a Gemini underscore API key, and then, whoa, Gemini API key equals API key. All right, then we wanna go to 11 labs underscore API underscore key equals all s. Yep, perfect. So this is here, and then we'll do the same thing. If not, come on, you can figure it out. I don't feel like typing this. Nice. Same thing here. API keys is fine. Let's cut that out. Let's print the, yeah, why are we not printing the API keys before? Okay, there we go. And then I think we just need to initialize 11 labs. Okay, perfect. So then we're gonna go here. I'm gonna just call it 11 labs equals 11 labs. Oh, 11 labs. I think the only thing that we need to input here is the API key. Should be. API key, yep, 11 labs API key. Boom. So this is all we have to enter here, right? So the next part, 11 labs is ready to use, to be used. What, did I break something? What did I break? Oh, oh my gosh, I'm blind, people. I messed up here. Oh my gosh, Gemini. I'm dyslexic as well, so bear with me, please. API key, Gemini underscore API key. All right, there we go. Wow, that was insane. I really didn't know. Wow, you're probably looking at me like I'm crazy. Okay, anyways, let's get back to it. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna create something called full underscore response. And our full response is gonna be an array for now, right? So what we're gonna do is we're gonna have our full response, and then every time we get a chunk, we're gonna append that chunk to the full response. So we're gonna go here, and then we are going to do full underscore response perfect append dot chunk text. So all this is doing is first full response dot type empty. We get the first chunk, it adds it on, and the next chunk adds it on. It's gonna continue adding it on until it's finished. But then after it's finished, we're gonna say if full underscore response, right? And the reason we're doing the if statement is because if the full response is blank, there's nothing in there, it's empty, we don't want to run this next set of code, right? So I'm gonna go to audio equals 11 labs.text to speech. All right. Moving too fast. So we're going to audio 11 labs.text to speech because this is the method that we're using in the 11 labs object that we created earlier. So we don't need all this extra jazz. So all we're going to say is the text that we're sending to 11 labs is full response. Voice is very important. Let's pick a voice. So I need to go back to 11 labs, but I already have a voice that I like. You can go ahead and test these out and pick a voice that you like. So you're going to log in, we're going to text to speech, and there's a whole bunch of different voices, right? So I use Lily. So let's generate speech.
Hello, my name is Ada. Nice to meet you.
Hello, my name is Ada. Nice to meet you. But there's a whole bunch of different voices.
Just trust yourself. Then you will know how to live.
As we are liberated from our own fear.
The thing always happens.
Life without love is like a tree without blossoms or fruit.
Yeah, so there's a lot of cool voices, and there's also multiple different models. So the best model as far as sounding realistic is this 11 Labs V3 Alpha. It's actually insane. You can say laughing and it knows to laugh, which is kind of crazy. So this is definitely the best model. But like I said, we're worried about speed. We care about real-time chat box kind of vibe. So I use 11 Labs Flash 2.5 because it still sounds pretty good. It doesn't but it doesn't only sound good. It's also very, very fast. So after you pick your voice, you want to press on these 3 dots and press copy voice ID. Go back to VS Code, and where it says voice, all you want to do is paste your voice ID, and then where it says model, you want to do 11, I think, underscore flash underscore 2 underscore 5. Let me double check that to make sure that is the exact one. I did that correctly. 11 underscore flash underscore V 2.5. Okay. Now I think we're going to be in business. Before you run this, you have to put on headphones, because if you don't put on headphones and your mic and your speakers are separate, what's going to happen is that your AI is going to talk. It is going to hear itself talking, thinking it's you talking. It's going to keep on going back and forth, right? But that's neither here nor there. Make sure you have on headphones. So when you switch, this to my headphones. And the next thing that you want to do, that's also very important, is you want to set max output tokens. And when you are using 11 labs, because it's actually like based off of how many tokens you're using, you want to set a max output tokens just so the AI doesn't yap. So just like you don't want it to tell you a story. It tells you a 5,000 token story and you lose all your tokens, right? So for now, we're just gonna do 50. We'll set the max output tokens to 50, and then we should be able to set it up in our config, right? Max output tokens. We're setting max output tokens and max, yeah. So very important. Make sure you set your max output tokens. Control C. All right, we're gonna go clear. We're gonna run. I hope you guys are ready. Hello? Another error, man. Code is not easy. What did I break? All right. So that's another thing. So I know I forgot that. So I forgot to actually play the audio. Right? So that's number one. Oh, this is completely incorrect. That's a problem. Sometimes copy and pasting is important. So this is text, which is incorrect, which is correct. Voice is supposed to be voice underscore ID. See, AI filling in text for me, I'm thinking is right. Model is underscore model underscore ID. And then we also forgot our output format. So we're gonna go here, we're gonna go to output format. And that's gonna equal MP3 underscore 44100 underscore 128. All right, we are fixing things. We are fixing things. Let me make sure. Oh, and this method is wrong as well. Yo, I just jacked up. Trying to listen to AI. 11 labs dot text underscore to speech dot convert. Now we're talking. Then I've got to play audio. And then we still do a record a shutdown. All right. Yeah. So from now on, AI will not be finishing my code for me. Because if I had coded it myself, I would have knew that. Okay. So we had a couple problems. I fixed them. Let's clear right here. Oops. If I could type. Oh my gosh, I can't type today. All right, let's clear right here. So the first problem is if you scroll up to imports, we had just 11 labs play, but it's supposed to be dot play. Yeah, I'm not sure when this changed. I'm not sure if we did the pip install incorrectly, but even in their documentation they have here, they just have 11 labs import play. But whatever, that's neither here nor there. We fixed it. The second thing that we had to do is we forgot to convert after we got the full response. We need to convert that into text. So we have our full response, which is an array. We're appending each chunk as an array. And now full response underscore text, this dot join full response dot strip, all that does is that converts that into text so we can send it to 11 labs. Now with that, people. Okay, now if we run. Hello?
Hi, Naz. It's great to connect with you. How can I help you today?
I need help with an engineering project.
That's fantastic. Engineering projects can be incredibly rewarding. To give you the best possible help, I need a little more information. Tell me about your project. What kind of engineering is it?
Exit. Okay, so the reason why it cut off is a good thing. We wanted it to cut off because she was gonna yap forever. So that max output tokens is very important. I think 100 is usually a good spot. So I usually have mine at 100. So let's try it again, just real quick. Let's ask some questions, some stupid questions, just to get the talking going. What's my name?
Your name is Naz.
Call me Jacob.
Is that your full name, Kwame Jacob? I'll remember it.
No, I said call me Jacob.
Got it. My apologies, Jacob. I'll make sure to call you by that name from now on.
Thank you so much. You're a sweetheart.
You're very welcome, Jacob. Just to confirm, when you said, yes, we are, were you referring to something specific or just acknowledging my correction?
No, I said you are a sweetheart.
Ah, I see. You said you are a sweet cat. Thank you for the compliment, Jacob. While I appreciate the kind words, I'm actually an AI, a computer program, rather than a cat. But I'm glad you think I'm sweet.
Exit. All right, so The text is, well, the speech to text is kind of a little bit iffy right now. I think it's because I'm using the mic that's all the way up there, not the mic in the headphone. But you could obviously fix this. All you have to do is use a larger model. Give and take. You can use a larger model. It might run a little bit slower, but it's gonna be more accurate. Okay, and with that, that is going to be the last kind of like code line by line piece of the tutorial. From now on, we're just gonna leverage the code that I already written in GitHub, and we're gonna copy and paste it in because a lot of changes are getting ready to start happening, and going through it line by line, this will end up being like a 5-part tutorial. So what we are gonna do is we're gonna go to the GitHub, and I'm gonna explain the code to get it. So like I said, GitHub tutorial, we are at number 7. So we're going to copy, we're going to paste. So as you can see, 270 lines of code. So let me tell you everything that's happened. First thing, we are using something called the Gemini Live API. And the Live API is still using the Gemini model. The only difference is that the purpose is for it to be a real-time AI assistant. So a good place to test this out is, if you remember going back to our Google AI Studio, we go to our Google AI Studio, go to Studio, and we go to Stream. This is basically what we made, what this demo that they have here. So we could have it enter in audio and text. Let's just do that. You could pick a voice. We preview native audio dialogue. This is the actual model we're using, so let's use that. And we could just keep the voice. All right, and we can also have a webcam and share screen and all that other stuff. So we're gonna do, oh no, I don't wanna do a webcam. No, I don't wanna do a webcam. Let's do share screen. I'm already using it on my webcam. But you can have a webcam and share screen. Let's share my code. Okay, perfect. Oh, it's sharing? Oh, we gotta pick a mic. Let's pick the Instant 360. Hello.
Hello. I see you have a Python script open in VS Code. Do you need help with anything specific related to your code?
From what you see right now, what can you predict that this code does?
Based on the imports and variable names, this Python script seems to be designed for an AI assistant. It handles audio processing, likely for speech recognition and text-to-speech, and interacts with external APIs, possibly for Gemini and 11 Labs. It also appears to include functionality for capturing and processing video frames.
Great, thank you so much. Can you read the highlighted text that I have by system instructions?
The highlighted text reads, "Your name is A.D.A, which stands for Advanced Design Assistant. You have a loving personality and are an A. I designed to help me with engineering projects as well as day-to-day tasks. Address me as Sir and spell."
Great, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
All right, so that is basically what we're kind of building, we're setting up the code on the back end. So this code that we already have here could do basically that, screen sharing or via video. So what I'm going to do is, to set up the video, I'm gonna have to change my camera setup around a little bit. Give me 1 sec. I think I'm good. So I am using this camera here now because the AI is going to be using the previous camera I was using. Now we take a deeper look at what we changed. We're not using real-time STT anymore because we're using, like I said, we're using the Gemini Live API, and it could already do the speech to text. So we're using Gemini for that, which simplifies things. But additional, like I said, we can either get frames from the webcam or we could get get frames from the webcam or we share our screen. And that is why I set up the camera over here now. Well, I have one camera set up over here, which is the streaming camera, and the webcam and the AI using is on top of there. So the AI is seeing me from up there. So just to prove to you that she could see me, let's run the code. Ada, how are you today?
Cherry as a cricket, sir. And you? What grand engineering feat are we tackling, or perhaps just what's for 11s?
I just want to play a quick game.
J.A.R.V.I.S, good, sir. What game have you in mind? I'm quite the wizard at guess the number of rivets in that bridge.
How about you guess the number of fingers I have up?
Right then, sir. Based on your current hand gesture, displaying 4 distinct digits, I deduce you have 4 fingers up. Quite the challenge, eh? My circuits are practically smoking.
Okay, very good. How many fingers do I have up now?
A rather easy one for an AI, sir. You're showing 2 fingers. Do feel free to crank up the difficulty. I quite enjoy a good mental tussle.
Okay, what about now?
No fingers visible, sir. My guess is 0. A splendid display of digit H iding, if I do say so myself.
So this right here is the base final version of our backend. But every good backend needs a mediocre front end. So I made a very simple GUI for it. Like I said, I'm not a software engineer at all. Also, I'm definitely not a front end engineer. So I just put together a very simple plain GUI that gets the job done. I hope you guys make a better one because that's just not my thing. So if we go to tutorial number 8, GUI A.D.A., copy. We're gonna have a simple GUI. And we're just gonna demonstrate that. So it does the same exact thing that we had before. So the code is, I try to make it as clean as possible because all the code is in one document just for beginners to be able to run that in, really want to use modules and do all other stuff. So all the GUI code is in one object called class main window, and all of the same backend logic that we had before is in another class called AI core. So all we have to do is do the same thing. Let's clear again because it's getting messy. Run.
Right then, sir. A.D.A. at your service, ready to tackle whatever engineering conundrum or daily kerfuffle you've got brewing. How can I be of precise assistance today?
Can you tell me the weather in Atlanta right now in degrees Fahrenheit?
Right then, sir. Just a moment while I fetch that for you. It's a crisp, calm 72 degrees Fahrenheit. In Atlanta right now. Anything else I can fetch for you, sir?
What date is that weather based off of?
My apologies, sir. That weather information is current as of today, October 26th, 2023. I'm always on top of the latest, you know. Anything else, sir?
Okay, A.D.A. actually isn't always on top of the latest because today is September 9th, 2025, as you can see. So that is the first problem. And she was almost sure that she was right, which is bad as well. So AI, the way models work is that they're trained for a certain set of time. So I think this model's knowledge cutoff was like January 2024, I think. So what we're going to do is we're going to add a tool to the AI model called grounding with Google search. And what that does, it gives the AI the ability to be able to search on the web, get an answer. And we also set up so it doesn't just get an answer, it's going to give us the sources of where it got the answer from so we could double check it. And the way that we're going to do that is, you guessed it, go to our handy dandy GitHub again. So go to GitHub, and only one little thing changed here anyway, so it's actually fine. The only reason there's so many more lines of code is that I added that little section to be able to click the links. So the only thing that changed was if you scroll down, you go to tools. So in this tools array, we have one object called Google search, right? So that's the first tool that we're going to be using. And in our config file that had the system instructions and everything from before, what we have to do is send tools. And the tool, like I said, the tool we're using is Google search. So easy enough. So now if we run it, A.D.A., what is the weather in Atlanta, Georgia?
Right then, sir. Currently in Atlanta, Georgia, it's a clear evening with a temperature of 67 degrees, 19 degrees, though it feels a bit warmer at 76 degrees, 25 degrees. The humidity is around 71%. There's no chance of rain at the moment. Looking ahead, tomorrow, Wednesday, September the 10th, you can expect a sunny day with temperatures ranging from 61 degrees, 16 degrees to 82 degrees, 28 degrees here. The humidity will be around 57%, and it should remain clear at night. Don't forget your...
Okay, so that's funny. One, search is working, the links are working, as you can see, everything's correct. The problem is it looks like she has trouble pronouncing degrees and degrees Fahrenheit. What that is, I'm not sure why I had so much trouble with that, but that's a problem for another day, but it works. But that's only tool number uno. The next tool, like I said, I mainly use my AI. Oops, smack the mic. I mainly use my AI for engineering problems. So this is where a tool called code execution comes into play. And what code execution does, it gives AI the ability to be able to run its own code, which is, well, Python code specifically, which is honestly insanely cool. So next tutorial, if I can find it, should be here. Let's exit out this weather. And we're going to go to tutorial number 10. We're going to go to code execution. Copy, paste, boom. Now code execution.
Right then, sir. Let's get this sorted for you. A spot of algebra, eh? Just a moment while I conjure up the solution. There you have it, sir. The value of x is 3.8. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. Right, sir. Carrying on with the arithmancy, shall we? One moment while I work my magic. There you go, sir. The result of all that calculating is approximately 0.1 sus. Another one for the books. Right, sir. Let's take that absolute value and then multiply it up for you. There we are, sir. The absolute value multiplied by 4 to the 324 comes out to approximately 502.488. Spot on.
Great, insane. So as you can see, code execution is very, very, very useful, especially if you're using your AI more like a engineering assistant. But we're not going to stop there. This is the last tool that we're going to add, and we're coming close to the end of the tutorial, a tool called function calling. And what function calling allows you to do, it allows you to write your own custom function. So whatever you want, and AI will call that function when it deems needed. So you can make a function that sends an email. You can make a function that turns on and off your Alexa lights. You can make a function that makes a folder in your computer, make a file in your computer, open application. You can do almost anything that could be done in code, you can have AI do it for you. So obviously, don't do anything very, very important. I wouldn't give AI the ability to lock and open my doors because it could get things wrong, especially within these early stages. So disclaimer, don't have it do anything crazy. Don't give it too much access to your shell environment. All right. So we're going to do the easy way. Oops. Go back. Tutorial number 11, the last one. We're going to copy, beautiful. Go back to our VS Code. Control A, Control V. Boom. And this was easy. Remember, all we have to do, well, let me explain. First, you have to do is define your function. So my function is called create underscore folder. You need to give it a name, the name, and this is for the AI. Because so this information is going to be passed to the AI. So you got to make sure your name, your description, your parameters are very, very good because that is what it's using to know if it needs to call that function or not. So name of the folder is create a folder. Description creates a new folder at a specified path. Yep. And of course, the argument that we need to put in is the path we need to create the folder as well. Yeah, that's it. Create file. Same exact thing, but we need the file path and we need the contents of that file that we're creating. And then edit file, it needs the file path as well as content that we're editing with the file. So all we need to do is do tools equals Google search, code execution, and this is our function calling. Now you also may have noticed what we also did is our system instructions are a lot more precise because now we're getting to where the AI could do a lot. So we want to make sure we give it we need to make sure we give it very, very, very specific instructions. So it could use Google search, you let it know that. Any math problems, use code execution. If the user tells you to do this, do that. Do this, do that. So that's how we're going to do it. So let's run it and I'll show you how I would actually use this. Can you create a folder called a robot?
I can create a folder for you. Did you mean record robot or something else? Please clarify the folder name.
Robot.
I have created a folder named Robot. Is there anything else I can help you with?
In that folder, create a file called robotarm.txt.
I've created the file robotarm.txt inside the robot folder. Is there anything else you'd like to do?
Can you edit robotarm.txt and add 10 bullet points?
Yes, I can edit robot arm text and add 10 bullet points. What content would you like for each of the 10 bullet points? Please provide the text you want for each point.
Just put in some boilerplate text, it doesn't matter.
I have added 10 boilerplate bullet points to robotarm.txt. Is there anything else you need?
Yes, in that same robot folder, create a new file called robotleg.txt.
Okay, I've created the file robotleg.txt inside the robot folder. Is there anything else you need help with?
Yeah, in robotleg.txt, can you add lyrics to a song that you make up that's about a robot leg?
Here are some lyrics about a robot leg for the robot leg. Text file. Verse 1. In the workshop, gleam and shine a robot leg, a design divine of metal forged and circuits bright, ready to step into the light. Chorus. Oh, robot leg, so strong and true, with gears that turn and wires too, from hip to toe, a perfect build, a future where all dreams are filled. Verse.
Yeah, add that song into robot_leg.txt file.
My apologies. It seems I made a mistake in the previous turn and the code execution failed due to an unterminated string.
Okay, so the reason why that didn't work is because I set the token limit to 100 tokens so she couldn't finish her script and I asked her to do something again. So you want to put all this stuff in consideration. Obviously, I really want to ask her to make a song, but this just goes to show you how insane this is. I promise you all this is real. It's accessing my own files and folders. So for the final version of Ada that I'm going to post, we're going to go over that. I added a couple more features. So this is this Ada.py main file. And like I said, the goal of this project is really to give you guys the boilerplate that you need to build your own AIs. So, well, your own personal assistants, your own Jarvis. So there's a couple things that I added. Yeah, so let's just go through it.
Hello, how can I help you today?
Can you create a new folder called Robot?
I have created a new folder called Robot for you. Is there anything else I can help you with?
Create a new file in robot called arm.txt.
I've created an empty file named arm.txt inside the robot folder. Is there anything else you'd like to do with it? Or
Can you
something
list
different?
all the files in the robot directory?
The robot directory contains one file, arm.txt.
Can you open up Notepad for me?
Not ePad should now be open for you. Is there anything else I can help you with?
Can you open Notepad again?
I have opened Notepad for you again. Is there anything else you need assistance with?
Can you open Google Chrome?
Google Chrome should now be open. Is there anything else you need help with?
Can you open google.com?
I have opened google.com in your web browser. Is there anything else I can assist you with?
Can you open nba.com?
nba.com is now open in your browser. What else can I do for you?
Can you open crunchyroll.com?
Crunchyroll.com is now open. What's next?
I'm sharing my screen now. I'm going to need some help with coding.
I see your screen now. It looks like you have a Python script open in Visual Studio Code. What do you need help with regarding your code?
Well, I'm going to need you to add some code to the arm.txt file that we made earlier.
What code would you like me to add to the arm.txt file?
Add the code that I have here highlighted, add that to the arm.txt file.
I've added print hello world to the arm text file inside the robot folder.
Now, can you also add this code that I have highlighted right here to the arm.txt folder as well?
I've appended the import statements and other code you highlighted to robot/arm text.
Now create a new folder called leg.txt create a new file in a robot folder called leg.txt and add the code that I have right here.
My apologies. It seems I made a mistake and the string was unterminated. I also noticed that the code you provided for leg.txt seems to be incomplete, specifically the no input timeout sex line. Could you please provide the complete and correct code for leg.txt?
No, I just want you to add the code that I have right here.
My apologies, I understand now. It seems like the content you're trying to add is still incomplete. The eno kshini at the end of the content string leads to an unterminated string literal error. Please provide the complete line or indicate if it's meant to be an empty line.
All right, look at the highlighted code that I have on the left side of my screen. Add that code to a new file that we're going to make called leg.txt in the robot folder.
Understood. I will create the leg.txt file in the robot.r folder with the complete code you highlighted. My apologies once again. It seems I am still having trouble with the copy-pasting of the code. The Denoise sample, the rate equals £48,000 line appears to be in.
Okay, I tried to get fancy at the end. It did not work. But as you can see, man, like, there's a lot of cool stuff that you can do. I just added the basic functions that I think I would use more on a day-to-day basis. You can add anything that you want. So if the tutorial helped you in any way, be sure to like the video. Also, if you like the channel and you want to see what I'm building in the back over there, be sure to subscribe. Catch you guys later. Appreciate it. Peace.